Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Starladder China, day number 3. We're now into marathon mode for Starladder, guys. Over the next week, we'll have Starladder China, Starladder China, Starladder America, Europe, as well as Southeast Asia, all going pretty much every single day. Southeast Asia is scheduled to kick off in an hour from now. That will be covered on twitch.tv/BeyondTheSummit. Zayori and Blaze will be casting that one. Of course, I'll be here covering China, then bringing you European Dota action later today on the main Starladder official channel. And yeah, it's the gauntlet, basically. And with that, of course, I'm LD. I'm joined here by Blaze. But yeah, Blaze, we've got a absolutely ridiculous amount of Starladder. I just looked at our tournament calendar, which we try to use to keep our casters sane. Only recently started doing it properly. And it's like 5 events at once. That's not even counting Sina Cup, which we've been broadcasting, as well as the MSI Beat at RGN League, which is starting later this week. So, too much Dota, man, if there's such a thing.
The casting gauntlet, indeed. But happy to run it alongside you, man. Getting pumped up bright and early in the morning here for some Chinese Dota, Lai Gaming, Invictus Gaming. Looks to be a good one, and a great way to start off the day. Of course, I'm a little bit more comfortable with the SEA casting. I've been doing that for a very long time, but the Chinese casting is always pretty interesting too, because we get to see some stuff from some newer teams like Lai. Obviously, they have some familiar faces, but I don't really know their strategy all that well. I think we've cast 2 of their games in grand total. So, so far, this draft is very different than what I've been seeing from the the American scene in general for the past few days. What would you say is the major difference between the 2 regions?
Well, one thing I'll point out is that the North American team seem to like Tidehunter a lot better. He's a fairly common pick. We've seen, I'd say, a lot. Skywrath Mage, not really a first pick for most American teams. Like, he does get picked up, but at least the games I've been casting, he's like, maybe pick him as your second pick in the first phase, or even sometimes getting banned out in the second phase and ignored through the first. But in the Chinese scene right now, it's like Skywrath Mage is like almost automatic first pick material. It feels like on the level of what he was seeing in the CIS scene in the Game Show League. So, yeah, I don't know. It also seems to me like a lot of the American teams are trying to run a bit greedier drafts in general. We see like occasional attempts to run like a Jungle Doom. Who was it there? Oh, Navi US tried to run that the other day. And it just doesn't seem like this patch rewards that type of play very often, Blaze. Like, once in a while a team will get away with it. Teams that are really good at it, like Cloud9, can do it if they're flawless with their execution. But by and large, it seems to me that the teams that are drafting really strong mid-game fight, that can also scale in the late game, are the ones that do best. And teams that have solid lanes, which so far, I think overall we do see so far from both teams here.
Yeah, and I think that's probably the most accurate representation of the metagame at hand, is that the games are going to end sooner rather than later, and if you try to go for something that's not going to contribute early, then you're probably going to leave the laning phase empty-handed. So, yeah, I think that's there's some room for variance. Obviously, region to region, they certainly give it their best try. But here, this is more what I'd expect from this evolution of Dota. I mean, obviously, there's not that much push on the side of IG. That's the only thing that kind of surprises me. But otherwise, they're momentum-based, pick-off team fight, these tempo controllers where they can just jump in every 90 seconds or so and just get these easy picks with the Batrider and set their team up for success that way. I think that's going to be a major factor. But how do you close out the draft for IG here? Do you pick up something like a mid Venomancer, or do you pick up something a little bit tankier to get on the front lines?
Yeah, you're saying for IG?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think you want a ranged carry here. Ideally, something that can lane with the Ancient Apparition and Witch Doctor, perhaps. I guess the other option is to run the Void or Bat off lane and just give the Void the safe lane. Maybe their lanes are kind of weird, honestly. Like I am a little curious how IG look to lane this one, because right now they don't really have anyone that particularly shuts down Ember Spirit in lane, and they have decent lockdown firm in the mid game, but I wouldn't say they have the best. Like, to me, by far the best for versus Ember is Storm or Doom, and they don't have either of those 2.
Okay.
So, I guess I would agree they want a tank, though, because Void, Batrider, good initiators, but not generally that durable. Void goes for the early Mask of Madness. Obviously, later on, once he gets, like, his BKB, Ags, whatever, then he's pretty tanky if he doesn't get stunned. But, yeah, they'll ban Viper, so... Yeah, I would agree with overall what you were saying, and just kind of along the lines of that. Well, but they'll go totally different. Okay. IG, they want to win this one with finesse more than anything else. So they get a Tinker. They're going to be running... is this a 430 Tinker?
That would be interesting. I would love to see that. Yeah.
Legendary Tinker from the past, but I can't remember if I've seen him play it recently, to be honest. To be fair, I've been casting some of the North American games and some European Dota, so I have not seen Chinese Dota the past week or so.
Yeah, I think I saw it picked up by him once this past week, but I'm not 100% on that. And yeah, he's a hero, a player that has so much hero variance, and he can play the highly technical ones in particular to great effect. So I'm really looking forward to see what he can do in this. But it does look like he's gonna be the one picking it up. Got Luo and Cheesebug on the Witch Doctor Ancient Apparition, and Chuan's gonna be running the Faceless Void.
Yeah, we're looking at a lot of push potential from these supports on live gaming more than anything. Although I say supports, the Jakiro, I guess, at this point is looking to be a core for XTT in the offlane as my Dota 2 is bugging out here. Give me one sec. But yeah, let's go ahead and introduce our rosters here, guys. So on the side of live gaming, we will have XDD playing the Centaur. Super will be handling the support Shadow Shaman. That puts 5,400, of course, onto... Oh, there we go. Oh, no, I don't want to pick. Damn it. There we go. All right, sorry about that. Yeah, overlay set now. So, yeah, so we got 5,400 played your Skywrath Mage. Going mid will be XC on the Ember Spirit. XTT will be the offlane Jakiro. So this is always a fun team to cast for me with their current roster because they've got the triple X's. Like, just to make it as hard to pronounce as possible. XC, XTT, and XDD. Good luck not messing those up in a team fight. But yeah, over on the side of Invictus Gaming, we'll have June playing the offlane Batrider. 430 will be your solo mid tinker. So excited for this. Cheesebug will be playing the Ancient Apparition. Luo will be handling the support Witch Doctor. And it's actually Chuan on the core role. So IG, they haven't performed particularly well lately. Correct me if I'm wrong, Blaze. They got knocked out of ESO 1. Obviously, they do at this point since the qualifying team just made their way in, and newsflash, it was not IG. And I don't think they've done particularly well in other tournaments from what I've seen, so they've decided to make a role swap here, and Chuan will be getting that farm.
Yeah, I saw that, and it kind of stood out to me as something a little bit weird and a little bit different. I was going to call them out, but I mean, if it works, they can find something that'll shift the momentum and actually put themselves back in the game, then I'm all for it. So we'll see what Chuan could do. He'll be on the farming role and be trying to get big, and we'll see how much space can be created for him by these two supports. But when it comes down to the technical aspect, the Chronospheres, I'm very confident in Chuan's abilities. I mean, we've seen his Rubik play, we've seen a lot of different really great heroes where he could be the main initiator, and I think it's going to be a very chronocentric lineup here with the Witch Doctor Death Ward with the Ice Blast. They're going to be trying to make them look at it go to an icy grave. So we'll see how it pans out, but for now, they're going to have a pretty good time against this Jakiro offlane.
Bottom lane, a little harassment here from Super as he's actually skilled up the Shackles level 1. Could have been a first blood if there's like a support Mirana, but yeah, with your Skywrath Mage and Centaur and not ranged to get in there close, it's just not going to happen. But I would agree with you fully. And I mean, I think the one thing that IG have going for them is Chrono is their team fight, but they have Batrider to pull live gaming into awkward engagement. So if you grab one, big force, and pull that hero back, if live gaming go to support him, they tend. That's when players generally tend to clump in team fights. So yeah, Void is crucial for the team fight, but that's where having Bat is great to draw your opponent into an uncomfortable position.
Yeah, so it'll be really on them to make sure that they're not in that position in the first place because they don't have any lasso breakers whatsoever. But once the lasso does expire of its own duration, then they're going to be able to stampede and reposition themselves. So it's all about making sure they're not too far gone, too far caught out. But even then, when the Force Staff comes out on June, it'll still be extremely difficult to deal with. So make the most of your time now. Try to zone him out as best you can. Delay that Blink Dagger, delay that Force Staff, because he's going to be the one that really starts making it difficult for Lai. In the meantime, they want to be the ones that make things happen. Once they get level 6 on the Shadow Shaman, actually going to go in. June could have gotten shackled there. They could have put in a couple more arcane bolts into him, but no, they will just go ahead and shock him up, get him out of their jungle, make sure that he's not going to be leeching any more experience here. So he still has this great Observer Ward in place on the bottom rune / on the high ground of the Radiant Jungle, and that is going to just allow him to be pulling off all these shenanigans pretty much constantly, moving in towards level 3, level 4.
Yeah, they were looking for the lane ward, or in this region, I guess particularly, like we normally see it like right there, but somewhere in that general vicinity, and they missed with the first D ward. They used another sentry to block these Ancients. Very important because you're up against the Tinker, and since it's a dire Tinker, it's not too easy for him to stack his own Ancients, so that's where the Batrider is likely to be the one doing it, and obviously blocking them off. Important in that case, especially since Bat's getting nothing right now. He's only level 1 as an offlane Bat. You compare that to XTT's Jakiro, he's managed to hit level 3, and what makes matters worse for IG as far as the offlane situation goes is they've yet to stack a camp for this Bat Rider. And it's not like he can just take the jungle for himself. That's only 430 may need to farm, especially given the fact that the Ancients have been warded off. So I'm a little bit worried about the progression of this Bat Rider so far, and wondering where they're going to find the space. But that's where maybe just move your safe lane Void around earlier. And I would like to see Chuan, once he hits level 6, get involved. Either just pushing a tower with Jakiro, or sorry, not Jakiro, with the Witch Doctor heal, or potentially just TPing to a lane and going for gank. But speaking of ganks, here come Invictus Gaming. Luo and Chispa grouped up and rotating towards the mid lane. They're looking for this XZ kill on the Ember Spirit. No rune about to spawn. Still 30 seconds short on that, and they're coming from down the river. They'll probably want to go up this hill if they want a better angle in on XZ, but in the end, they just can't really find the opening. He seems to know. Doesn't have a ward, but is just playing it very cautiously.
To enable the kill, they really need an extra creep to bounce the cask too. It's otherwise going to be very difficult for them to guarantee it. They will get the Chilling Touch out, a lot of right-click damage, but he will be able to flame guard off most of that. So yeah, doesn't get the second bounce on the cask. Luo taking some tower shots, but it looks like Ferrari still wants this kill pretty bad.
Diving a bit for that one, but meanwhile, June mid lane or bottom lane was being pursued out by 5400. Got off an arcane bolt, our concussive shot as well, and we'll cancel that regen and force June back a bit. So, honestly, dude, never thought I'd really see the day where an offlane Jakiro gets more than an offlane Bat. Now, to be fair, it is an offlane Jakiro on the Radiant side, but even so, this is impressive. That's going to change soon, though. Tron is about to hit level 6. He's gone for the more aggressive build with the 2 points in Bash, the 2 in Time Walk, and I'm fully expecting a kill attempt here as soon as he gets Chrono online.
I'm curious, do you think it's more on XTT for finding the space to actually get the inexperienced range to get these levels, or do you think it's more on Luo transitioning into the supportive role and maybe not having as many great fundamentals when it comes down to creep equilibrium?
Sorry, I was trying to fix my Dota TV. What'd you say again?
In terms of like the current lane position, the fact that the Jakiro has gotten so many levels early, would you put that more on XTT's positioning and how he's gotten experience, or maybe more on the fact that Luo isn't as fundamentally experienced when it comes down to controlling the lanes?
I honestly didn't have my camera there the whole time, so I'm not sure, but it seemed like they were just pulling and not really spending too much time trying to zone the Jakiro out of lane. And I mean, the other big thing is it is Radiant Jakiro, so you can just sit here when they go for the double pull. There's a bit of a push bottom lane, and yeah, I don't know. Jakiro is not, even though he's thought of as a support, he is tanky. This guy's got 5 armor, liquid fire to slow down your attack speed, and 2 good disables to try and cover the path of his retreat. So it's not as though Jakiro's a terrible offlaner by any means. It's just, you know, you go back, it's more just like weird to think about because you go back like a few months ago and no one's like, oh yeah, Jakiro's the best offlaner. But nowadays he is bottom lane. Who's gonna get this tower last hit? It actually goes down to the Radiant. Both teams very slow to last hit. Super was late. He was actually a bit later than Luo, who went for the deny, but the creeps were the fast ones. Not often you see that in professional Dota, and they will get last hit.
Yeah, that was really interesting. As far as like just durability goes for a hero like Jakiro, his strength gain and base strength is actually some of the highest that exist in the pool of intelligence heroes. So the fact that he's able to just get enough early on and from there actually get really tanky effective health is gonna be helpful, along with the fact that he's going for this EHP build, going for the armor. It doesn't really help against the Chilling Touch, obviously. Time Lock does magical damage as well, but the bottom line is he'll still be at full HP whenever they engage on him, and they are going to have to commit the Chrono for the kill.
Yeah, speaking of the Chrono, Chuan won't have quite as much damage output in this Chrono early on. He's just gone for his early Midas build, a pretty uncommon build nowadays, and I guess a lot of that, Blaze, is really just due to the fact that we're seeing most Voids in the off lane. This safe lane Void is fairly uncommon. There was a period where teams were running it more, but not the case. And I do also want to point out that the Ancients have been warded off again. And this Radiant Ward is positioned such that if you drop a sentry here, I think it's going to be just out of range. And this is the normal D-ward location, so this could be a pretty clever way. Oh, mid lane. XZ jumped in, but it was on a Tinker Illusion. They thought it was real. I was like, wait, what are they doing? Oh yeah, 5400 used to silence on that. So nice bait out there, and in the end, won't find the kill. Good plays by 430.
So just micro on those illusions. He was actually going to be looking to stack with the other one, but I think they're aware of the warding situation now. So.
I wouldn't be surprised if they missed this D ward though, man. I think this is a pretty clever place to put it. And this Radiant Ward was just placed. I don't think they had vision when the support came up the hill and dropped the ward. So I think this is going to be a failed D ward.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, 430 would have stacked with that illusion if he wasn't aware that it was warded. So I think he has some.
Oh no, I think he knows it's warded. I just don't think he knows where the ward is. Is what I'm saying.
Sure.
But here comes a smoke from Light Gaming.
Oh, they got the Blink Dagger to unveil on the center. This should be a pretty easy kill.
And
I mean,
Stampede.
Yeah, Stampede, Blink. That should be at least a single, if not a double, if they find the right opening. But
Chuan does have a TP scroll though. This could be turned. Well, not if they go on Chuan. Maybe that's what Light Gaming are thinking here, is if we don't go in the Void, he can counter gank, and this could go very south. So let's just gank him first.
Yeah.
Chuan about to pick up his treads, and actually they go the other direction. They find Cheesebug. This will be your first blood. Easily claimed by Light Gaming. Didn't even need the Stampede. The Blink Dagger revealed, and it's a nice effect, but hey, you'd rather lose the Ancient Apparition than the Void for that Blink Dagger reveal, that's for sure.
You definitely want to make IG uncomfortable in their own jungle right now, because we're going to see Batrider put more reliance on it. If he isn't, then Ferrari's gonna. So yeah, in general, I think that it's really important that they start putting an aggressive stance out that way. Since they already got the tier 1 bottom, and that was their main objective, they're actually going to be the Chrono on to Super Solo, and Luo is going to be able to add in a few right clicks to cast, and they're going to be able to get this kill. One more right click goes from the Void, and that's a nice chunk of gold going the way of Chuan.
Well, now that you know the Chrono's down, Blaze, it's time to push. Level 3 Liquid Fire up on Jakiro, and this tower is going to take quite a bit of damage. In fact, do they even defend it? Centaur's in position to stop any rotations, and XC's even further up ahead in this dire jungle, cutting off the path of retreat. He could have jumped in on this Ancient Apparition, but a little bit worried about support coming his way. We'll play it safe and back off. And how do you defend if you're IG? You have no Chrono, and you've got a level 4 Batrider at 9.5 minutes. Well, mid lane. Oh, 430. Yeah. It just lasers XZ, and that's the end of that. Any ambitions of a jump in.
Yeah, I guess that's the answer, is just farm elsewhere. Just find opportunities where you can build up your core heroes while you still have the opportunity, while you still have this breathing room, because they can't be everywhere at once. So on the mid lane, Ferrari will be taking some nice CS. On bottom lane, Chuan, he's actually getting pretty huge. If you look at last hits right now, he's 64 and 25. He is topping out way above
6 CS a minute. That's like basically free farm for a Void. I mean, you can't ask for much better when you're up against a good harasser like Jakiro and moving around to set up kills. This is... It's going to be a fat Void, but my only concern is what do they do when Chrono's down? Because Tinker's not farming particularly well. 430. He'll still have his Boots of Travel at an okay time, but we're not really going to see him come online until Blink. And in the meantime, everyone in Light Gaming's in fighting shape. Super's got his wards. The Scarlet Mage doesn't have his ult yet, but still offers a lot with the regular nukes. And Centaur's got Blink. Ember has his drums. And yeah, to me, this is IG just have to dodge fights, be very careful about their engagement selection, and stall. They are not at their strongest right now.
Definitely not. They want to hold this tower. They're posturing for it, but it's still very difficult against these Mad Serpent wards. They'll take what they can get, just clipping down 1 or 2 of them. But yeah, it almost seems like the vulnerability was over on the Ember Spirit. Now, Luo getting jumped on. This chain stun comes out. Didn't even have a chance to respond. And yeah, that tower is completely dead. I kind of feel like Chuan should have just been Midasing, farming up the jungle alongside this, kind of being in position in case they could Chrono, but not actually committing, just kind of chilling out. In the end, though, a couple of creep waves do fall in the tower, so he gets some nice experience, and that's going to be actually a pretty big factor. You're talking about
going on mid. Now they Stampede. Jumping in onto Cheesebug. They'll get the slow off on him. Double Edge jams it in. And XDD just retreats to the south after that.
And that's a dead tier 1 mid.
Yeah, another tower down. Hey, Liquid Fire, man. Every time this team gets a kill, they will at least take a tower down to half, if not kill it, if they're in range of one to attack.
Man. They're just trying to get the experience from each tower death right now. Maybe Ferrari goes in for the deny, but it just doesn't seem like that's the right timing for it. So yeah, it's going to be on Chuan to really build up towards the level 11 as quickly as possible. I don't even think he wants to use the level 1 Chrono once again. He wants to use this Midas, get this solo experience, get to level 11 extremely quickly, and then make sure that he's using the Chrono on the shorter CD, because 2 minutes is a lifetime when your towers are dropping like flies.
Yeah, I'm still feeling like IG are in a bit of a pickle here. And to me, the biggest issue is they have to be able to take fights, Blaze. They don't split push. Ancient Apparition can de-push a bit with his ult. Witch Doctor can slowly bring out a wave with the heal, but he's level 4. Like, he can't be off on his own against an Ember Spirit and a Centaur Blink. He's just going to feed if that happens. They don't have heroes that are ideal, like, to just stall. They don't have a Visage, they don't have a Shaman of their own that can just drop wards on a tower, run away, and TP out. And that's my biggest worry, is when Live Gaming start going for the tier 2s, the big ones. The tier 2 mid, the tier 2 bottom, the two crucial Roshan-centric towers. I don't really see any reason for Live Gaming to wait. They've got double Blink up. They've actually gone for a Blink of Jakiro. Kind of a unusual pickup, honestly. But hey, it's Blink. Blink's always good on everyone nowadays with the 0 mana cost. So yeah, they're looking for the jump in mid. If they get a kill here, this is gonna be the tier 2 mid, almost certainly.
But yeah, Ferrari's got maxed out March though, so if he wants to be the hero that delays the March, he certainly is capable.
They missed
the stomp.
He blinked in. Oh, he did. He stomped before blinking in and missed the combination. As a result, 430's gonna live. Not sure if like a March canceled that one, but now a bash on the 5400. And it looked like his Blink Dagger was canceled when the stop happened, so it might have been like the last March just clipped him or something.
Jeez. That would be very unlucky if that was the case, but yeah. Stomp Dodo before Blink Dodo. Unfortunately, Ferrari, fortunately for Lai, they lose that kill.
Jump in on Luo, but no follow-up to this one. Meanwhile, top lane Chuan is going to look for a solo kill on XDD. He gets the bash, double bash coming out. Decent auto attack damage from the Void, and he needs a little bit more. He doesn't have Mask of Madness. The point booster not helping him to get this kill. He needed one more good bash near the end of that chrono, and now they might turn on him. Blake, stop. Double Edge will be backtrack. Fortunately for Chuan, still the Ember jumps in. We'll hold him in position here. Honestly. And Chuan is getting some serious backtrack luck. At the same time, XDD is still chasing for this. He's got a Blink ready. Chuan, caught by the stop. Backtrack this, says XDD, and Chuan says, great. I'll backtrack the killing auto attack blow. But it's just not enough. He'll still end up falling in the end. He backtracked like 4 or 5 big damage auto attacks / nukes there, and even with the point booster, still ends up paying for it.
Yeah. We figure with so many damage sources there that it would kind of even itself out, but he was backtracking a lot of macro player too. But we do see the lasso finally being used here, and the Ice Blast onto at least 5400.
Now the chain's coming out mid. 430, can't afford to get caught like this. You are the D push, my friend. You will end up going down while XC dives deep behind the tower, killing off a second hero, and this makes a total of 3 with the Faceless Void. As Live Gaming continue their push in mid. This should be the fall of the tier 2. The question is there a trade from IG? Can they at least get a pick off with no lasso, no chrono? It seems there's just nothing to hold on to. And they'll now lose their second to last outer tower of the game at 15 minutes in. There's still no blink up on the Tinker of 430. And again, this goes back to the warding shenanigans we saw earlier. First the Sentry Ward block, then the unusual Observer Ward block fairly far north in the camp. And IG just have not done a great job of securing the Tinker's farm early. And this Void Midas Rush, it hasn't really accomplished too much, Blaze. He's 2-1. Not to say Chuan's played terribly, but as far as the overall strategy goes, you have to get more out of your safe lane farmer when you're sacrificing your Batrider and your Tinker so much to make it happen.
Yeah, if he was going for like a right-click oriented build, I would understand the value in this safe lane farm, but right now, despite the fact that he got his level 11 at a pretty good time at 15 minutes, he's still going to be going for the Aghanim Scepter, so they still really feel they need those 60-second Chronospheres, and that's it's extremely valuable. I think it is probably the right decision, but all the same, it's not really what you go for a safe lane Void for. You go for it so that in the Chronosphere you can do insane damage, but they already had that from the draft alone, so yeah, maybe not the most valuable here, but they're going to use it down a bottom lane. A Death Ward to follow the Chrono on bottom.
Oh, they're going to need this one as well from Low. He takes a while to channel it, then he gets silenced almost immediately. Could have gotten that off for an extra second or two. Don't know if it would have been enough. Now the turn. 2-hero stop from XDD. The wards follow this one up. Super arrives, and he's here to save the day. They're going to lose Luo as well, and XDD lives with about 9 HP. An absolute sliver from him. What a complete mess for IG. Can they even kill off XTT at this point? He's quite tanky, and the turn comes from Super with another blink in. The Hex to follow this up. XTD went back in, got this 2-hero stomp, but didn't quite have the follow-up to secure kills. Finally, XC's going to arrive, and at this point, there's very little to control this Ember Spirit in the fights. The Void's dead, the Chrono's not online, the Lasso's gone. Their 2 tools for killing off Ember are down the drain, and Luo's about to feed if there's not backup coming. Fortunately, there is in the form of 430.
So XCD, the Ice Blast. Man, these Ice Blasts have been so close, but so far away. They're even picking it out like, oh, I just missed them. But
that one was like on track to maybe hit XDD with the debuff and hit 5400 with the actual blast, but neither ends up connecting in the end.
Yeah. There was one where actually the Centaur was farming his western jungle just right before he went back to base. He was only at like 20% HP, and it was a very predictive Ice Blast coming out of Cheesebug there, but he was only like 5 seconds too late when he cast it out. So, yeah, there have been just a couple here where he almost connects, It's almost the perfect Ice Blast. It's almost exactly what they need, but so far, very few of them have actually done their job. It's just been slightly off the mark, and that, yeah, I guess it's almost only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. But we're going to see some movement up top. Chuan does have Chronosphere back up, but they have the initiation.
Caught by the Ice Path. They can follow this one up with the Shackles, but I'm not sure if it's sufficient damage. Chuan turns, and that one auto attack on Super would have ended his life, but now a Stampede, as well as an Urn Charge, will keep Super safe, while meanwhile, XZ is just all the way in dire territory, diving after the Witch Doctor. He'll find a solo kill. These supports are just complete food at this point. 1,700 net worth on your Ancient Apparition and Witch Doctor, level 7 and 6, and you compare that to the support Shadow Shaman and Live Gaming, he's got 5,300 net worth for Super. Blink Dagger, Arcane Boots up, Urn up, and on his way to that next big item. Probably looking at an Eggs Rush for him, I would imagine.
Yeah, triple stack from the Dire Jungle, stolen by XDD, cleans that up with the double hedge, and that's just more gold off the table for IG. They don't have any comeback mechanics anymore, and they are just going to have to go for the raw turtle. We do see down bottom, they might be able to get a kill off on the squishy Shadow Shaman. The Stampede was used earlier to no avail, so maybe they will get this opening. The blink in, the Firefly Vision, but Super... Oh my god.
He's wasting their time. They'll get this kill with the lasso, but the question is if this buys time for IG to turn it. And they're going to lose Cheese Bug. In comes the Sleight of Fist. The Searing Chains follows this one up. He throws out a Remnant. Didn't actually need it. While meanwhile, on the other side of play, the Bat Rider will end up making his escape. But the top lane's pushed into the base. The mid lane's pushed into the base. And if you're Live Gaming, I think you look for this tier 2 bottom lane Blaze. That's going to be the last outer tower. IG do have Chrono online, and they finally have their Blink on the Tinker. Not to mention 430, he's kept his farm up reasonably well after that slow start. The Ancient's being blocked off a game. He still has 117 CS, still AK net worth. And if this goes late, that's where you would start to favor IG, but they've got to hang on here. The Onslaught's coming. It's a 7,500 gold lead, and well, actually a slightly lower experience lead, 4,000 that way, but yeah, now the big, strong mid-game items come out. Your Battle Fury picked up on XC. Live Gaming, with the BKB on Centaur and a 4-staff as well, they'll be looking to find those pickoffs and look for a high ground push in the next 5-10 minutes.
Pickoff is going to be the name of the game for Live Gaming because they're going to actually go for 2 Yule Scepters. One on Jakiro, one on Skywrath Mage. If they get both of those, there's so much potential to pick off these targets. And I think Ferrari sees this coming a little bit. Instead of going for the Blink Dagger, which would be cancelled by the 50 magical damage that Yule's now provides, he's actually going for the Staff of Wizardry, which could technically be an early Dagon, but I think it's going to be a 4-staff. And that might be just what he needs to get out of a bad spot, but I don't know. I mean, they, of course, have the Ice Path, which connects nearly instantly right after the Cyclone concludes. And, yeah, it's going to be hard. If you just get one stun, it's going to be one after another.
And honestly, to me, they're going to need a damage-oriented Tinker this game. Like, this is definitely a Dagon 5 E-Blade game. You've got a Void rushing an Aghanim Scepter. Chuan's damage is minimal. Your Ancient Apparition obviously offers a decent amount of teamfights, but is only level 8. Not going to be farming an Ag.
So they steal another stack. My goodness, this is so bad for IG. They put
you made
so
me panic there. I'm like, oh my god, what happened? Oh, they stole the stack that I was already watching. XCD gets caught out now by the lasso. June will jump in. They kill him off instantly. That's a big pick.
This is Gem.
Also a gem down. IG gonna collect that one. It goes the way of Luo. The question is if Live Gaming look to turn this now. They want to, it seems. Jumping forward. The Void will find a Chrono on 3, but XC on the side of this one. He's too tanky. He'll survive through it. They lost their Tinker.
And they get the Yules on him.
And now Chuan gets caught. He's Yulesed up in the air. Now Hex brought back down to earth. He has no time walk for 2 seconds. Silence can't use it anyway. Tries to juke through the trees, but they'll follow him through that. Not enough backtrack for Chuan to live. And yeah, the Tinker just got caught out right in the middle of all of Live Gaming. No chance for Chuan to jump in and save 430.
Yeah. This is getting difficult. It's going to be the beginning of the end if they don't change something soon. They're just losing so much on the outside. The Roche will be the next objective for Live Gaming. And one thing I want to talk about real quick is why do you think the Centaur went for the BKB over the Pipe of Insight? It seems to me Pipe is one of those kind of must-have items against the Tinker Marsh.
It actually seems like a pretty terrible BKB game as well. Like you're up against Lasso, Death Ward, Chronosphere.
Yeah, this is literally the worst BKB game I can think of, to be honest.
The only thing that's really going to help you against is the Ice Blast and Tinker nuke damage.
Yeah.
But you don't need to right-click against Tinker. You don't have to worry about the blind. It's like... Yeah, I'm with you, man. I think this is a pipe game for sure. To me, that's the item. And if you want to skip a pipe, then maybe even just going into a straight heart. Something that will give you additional survivability against everything IG bring to bear, not just against a few of their spells.
Yeah, half the benefit of the BKB here is going to be nullifying your own double edge damage, so I don't really know if that's what you pick Centaur for, but yeah, I guess he'll...
Yeah. If you want to nullify that, you can just get the casual cloak, and Pipe's going to help there too, so yeah, I'm with you, man.
Exactly. Well, we'll see if he lives to regret it. For now, it's going to be IG just kind of being cornered right now with the Massive Rewards committed down bottom. They can't really hold this tower. They do have the Chronosphere, so that's not the issue, but the last one, they didn't have the damage follow-up, and they really need to very carefully place the Witch Doctor to make this happen. Luo, the last time that he got the opportunity, he immediately got silenced. 5400 saw exactly what he was intending to do, but it's not just the silence. It's the not multiple stuns. It's the 2 Yule Scepters. Like, how do you actually get a fully channeled Death Ward off in these team fights?
You have to sit really far back and just pray. I mean, that's pretty much it. Or you got to farm your BKB. If he can get a BKB, Gaming have 0 ways to cancel that. They have nothing that goes through it, so... yeah, I would say... Oh, they've just smoked under a Dire Observer. This will be a boon for IG. 4 heroes spotted out, and this is where Chuan will TP out immediately. Even though they're spotted, though, nobody's split pushing aside from Tinker. Or not actually Tinker, Witch Doctor. Tinker's sitting mid. Now they're jumping in top lane. They're looking for the Courier, and I think they'll get it here. One more auto attack brings it down. Nothing on that Courier, but more gold into these Gaming pockets. Important for them as they look to siege.
Yeah, they had that Observer Ward in place, so they go ahead and take what they can. Now they ward up on the plateau, and it's actually going to be IG to try to take back what's theirs, get back into enemy territory, and go out on to 5400 here. The Hex doesn't come out in time from Super. Yeah, they're going to actually get a double out of this.
Super. Nowhere to go. Stick Charge is not going to save him from this one, and IG find the double kill. I mean, both of the kills go to the Tinker. That is a massive win for them. Like, yeah, the importance of that can't be overstated. That's another Dagon recipe for 430 if he wants to buy it, and it also buys time for Chuan to finish his Ags. I was going to mention this is very important, just for the 1 minute cooldown, because you want to be able to use a chrono to get kills and create space, and have it up when Gaming go for a push right after that, and this will allow them to do so.
And if you look at the team, it's just really good for a short CD chronocentric lineup. I mean, you get the Death Ward on an 80-second cooldown, you get the Ice Blast on 40, so you're going to be able to pretty much put all the damage into the chrono every time it's up, even on that short duration. We are going to see June get cut out by the stun. He just walks point blank into XDD, who pops the BKB, but the Ice Blast will come through, the Death Ward doing its work, and they will be able to bring him down.
They're going to lose more than this, Blaze. They'll lose 2, the Centaur, the Jakiro, and now make it the Scarth as well. It's a 3-hero swing as Gaming. Their grip on this game quickly begins to slip. It's not really... The gold lead remains similar, but as the game goes later, it's less and less of a percentage lead, and more importantly, this Tinker's getting fat, man. Although, as I say that, 430 is not leveling up his Dagon. I think he might go BKB, because, I mean, there's only Ember Spirit to really do damage when you're in BKB. The other option, I suppose, is an Aghanim Scepter.
No, this is not one of those games where you can always think of it, but this is just not a game where it's not going to be that much valuable. There's a lot of ways you can build Tinker in this.
Is this the build, though? I mean, it makes him durable in fights, but you don't have a huge mana pool at this stage of the game, and he's already gone for level 2 rearm. I don't know. This is
quick
curious.
question: does rearm refresh Heaven's Halberd?
Oh yeah, I was actually just thinking it could be Heaven's Halberd to disarm the Ember.
Yeah, because
I think it does. I think it does. I'm pretty sure the only thing it doesn't refresh is BKB.
Oh, there's actually quite a few things like Necro, Midas,
and Necro,
Arcanes, but yeah, all the same, if you can actually get that Heaven's Halberd off on an Ember Spirit multiple times in a fight, that could be extremely painful. When you're disarmed, you don't get the Sleight of Fist bonus, and yeah, he obviously doesn't want to go BKB in this game. We've highlighted how bad it is in this matchup, but you go maybe Laser Halberd, make it so he just can't stay on his targets.
Where's the damage then? I guess
that's true. But Void Stem, he's getting bigger. Oh, he's going for BKB too. Shoot. Yeah, they are very defensive when it comes down to this progression until the Ancient Apparition.
Triple BKB and Ancient Apparition going for eggs. So that looks to be the builds from IG.
Yeah. I actually think that Luo might get less damage out of his Death Ward going for Aghanims here, because there's just so many damn ways to cancel it that I guess they're kind of looking for the Wonder Chrono, where they can get 5 people in it and just look at it go, blast them all down. But it seems like a risk. If
with Luo the BKB, there's a much better chance of that for Chuan. Like, he's had trouble this game, yet once he has Magic Immunity, he jumps in, Gaming, all they can do is jump away. They can't stop him from chronoing. So, maybe they'll get a Wonder Chrono Blaze. Especially if Lai try to push in high ground, which I think they've lost a bit of confidence in their ability to do.
Oh, definitely. I mean, these pickoffs happening, the fact that they weren't able to secure Roche in the time that they had their massive advantage, and the fact that now things are just getting pushed away. I mean, the March Machines is really good for just global control of the creep waves and where they are. And now I actually see down bottom where there's Ferrari TPing down, XDD hiding.
Oh, he knows they're here.
Stuff. But he's got everything. He's got BKB, Stampede. Yeah, they are 100% aware, and it's just going to be a kind of slow siege coming out from IG. They haven't committed in full. They're kind of waiting in the wings, but there's no surprises here.
Honestly, the importance of getting this double kill right near the river for the Tinker and the subsequent good fight top lane, like those two cannot be overstated. Before that, I was of the opinion that Light Gaming could take Roche with the wards, wait for the wards to cool down, and just go for a high ground siege, but I'm not so sure. Hold that thought, bottom lane, they've jumped in on XDD. Chuan leaps in, he completely whiffs on the Chrono, only catch out super. He does keep one of the other supports trapped in position for this time, actually a core in XTT, but Centaur's gonna live through this because of the lack of follow-up damage on the Centaur. Now the jump in from XZ, he annihilates 430, they've lost 2, they've only given up a support Shadow Shaman. Chrono down for a minute. Should be up in time to defend any high ground attempts, but man, IG are just out of sync with these team fights.
All those ultis were disastrous, honestly. I mean,
what is going on?
The Ice Blast just going right down the middle where nobody was whatsoever. The Chronosphere not connecting. It's just...
Then they let Centaur get his BKB off. They pulled him out of where the Chrono was going to hold him in position.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so
that
the lasso was bad, unfortunately. So there's not many ways you could screw up a lasso, but when you don't coordinate with your teammates here... ugly. They're going to see the Ice Blast come out in the pit. If they don't get hit by this, they can go straight into it. Looks like 5400 is going to be the only one to eat the blast. And yeah, if they wanted to try to look to Roshan, they could go very, very shortly. The Mass Serpent Wards aren't up, so maybe they'll wait for that. That is probably their best source of damage against Roche right now. But Centaur, he's quite tanky and probably pretty confident against it.
Is this BKB from 430 a vote of no confidence in his team? Is like I'm just trying to think about the reasoning behind it. Obviously, as mentioned, it blocks every single spell from Lai aside from Death Ward auto attacks and Sleight of Fist damage. And it is a BKB now because he's completed it, but
yeah.
If there's a good Chrono and a good lasso, Tinker should be able to do whatever he wants in a team fight.
Sure.
Like to me it's just saying I don't believe in my team. I assume I'm going to get caught and I need to be able to fight on my own. And
yeah, kinda.
It just doesn't seem like that's the idea of the draft. Like,
I think it's a way to react to the Yule Scepter initiation. You get caught up by the Yule Scepter, you know you're going to get followed up on by an Ice Path, by a Hoof Stomp. You won't have anything to do. You certainly can't blink. So spamming the BKB, it's kind of the best way to respond to that. Trying to get out of those situations.
That's a fair point.
Just for the viewers, we were talking about items that are not refreshed by rearm. BKB is not one of those. There was a metagame in Dota 1 where that actually was the case, and it was just clowny as could be. But now, yeah, we just have...
There also used to be a Dota 1, I believe, when you got Manta with Tinker, like, it used to be that you just keep on making new art. Like, you could have, like, 30 illusions going at once or something ridiculous. Like, yeah, whatever the maximum possible is. Every time you'd rearm it, and you just have an additional set. It wouldn't despawn your old ones, so... This is like going way, way back in Dota 1. Not in years has that been the case. But.
Yeah. So if you think Tinker's OP in your pubs now, you don't want to think about it.
The way that you can get double Necrobook is by playing Arc Warden. That is one of my favorite Dota 1 heroes. He's completely imba, completely broken, but his ult makes a copy of your hero for those who aren't familiar with him. And the copy gets his own item cooldowns. And he gets all the items, not just boots like Meepo. So if you build a Midas Necrobook, you have double Midas, you have double Necrobook, and, well, hold that thought. There's a jump in mid lane. It's onto XZ that Chuan goes, but he has no damage. He has absolutely no damage, just a BKB. He can't even kill off the friggin' Ember. And now the turn may come as the Centaur jumps in. Luo will look for the ultimate here to turn this one. It's a 1-for-1 exchange so far. A support for a support. 430. He's got the BKB. Not sure why XDD is pursuing him out. Ember Spirit joining this fight with a double damage rune, chases forth, looks to get this kill, but now XDD caught out. Chuan and 430 will combine. They'll take him down together. So it's a 2-for-2 in the end. 2 supports for a core and a support. Actually turns out decently for IG, all things considered, but yeah. Man, this is the weakest Void I've ever seen in terms of damage output from Chuan.
Oh yeah, he's just built defensively entirely. I mean, Midas is probably his most offensive item next to Treads. I guess.
Meanwhile, top Archikiro got jumped by 430. Used this 10-second BKB to get that kill.
But More Dagon fuel. It's going to be working out for him as far as just gaining magical damage to put in Chronosphere, to put in fights in general, and that's going to be pretty huge for him. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, the coordination just doesn't seem to be there. The lasso was pulling one away while Chuan jumps in for the Chronosphere. The damage follow-up wasn't there. I really don't know. It kind of feels like only one or two players are just completely not on the same page. But no matter the case, the communication, the timing of and usage of ultimates hasn't been as efficient as can be, and despite initiating the fight and kind of getting the jump on their opponents, they just kind of draw it even. That's okay for IG right now because, of course, they are playing from behind, but they're going to need bigger fights to actually come back.
Honestly, Blaze, their main damage output is the supports. The Switch Doctor with a level 2 Aghanim Scepter ult, and the Ancient Apparition with almost his level 2 ult and working on his own Aghanim Scepter. If they had big ults, then everything's fine for IG. It doesn't matter that Chuan hits like a wet paper bag, and it doesn't matter that 430's gone for BKB and lacks a bit of damage compared to your normal builds. Hold that thought mid lane, jump in on Chuan. There's a Hex to follow this up, a double damage crit in from Luo, or from XE. That's not backtrack. I'd say Luo. Very similar names. You got XE, XI, XTT, and XTD. So.
I love the search for it from Light Gaming. We're going to see the lasso come out, but there are no March laid down just yet.
He got off his wards,
we'll lose the Shadow Shaman. He did his job. He drops down the Mass Serpent wards, and they're breaking the base.
They'll kill off the Ancient Apparition here, most likely. No, barely kept alive by the Witch Doctor heal. And it looks like they'll try to retreat out. Yule Scepter dodging a rocket, but still leaving 5400 in an awkward position. Will there be another blink in from the Tinker? Doesn't want to risk it. 5400 will go for the TP out. XTT also blinking away. This tower now down to extremely low HP. Will be finished off. There's no split push here. No Void. Does he have a buyback? Chuan is nothing for 90... Oh, sorry, for 20 seconds for 900 gold. This is trouble. They're not going to lose their base necessarily, but they're going to take a lot of damage on the structures. The range racks now being plinked away at by wards. They'll hold the line for now, but IG one bad fight away from losing their first lane of racks.
Yeah, I mean, just to break base against a Tinker in general, the first step is a tier 3. If you could do that, then you're not going to be nearly as worried about the March being laid down, because you are going to be in the base, not having to worry about that tower and getting some just raw damage on the wrecks. So in this position, IG are really crumbling, and it really was, of course, that pick off on the Faceless Void, and not just the fact that he got picked off, but the position in which he got picked off. They were able to follow that up so easily with the main objective before Ferrari could get in position to play defensively. So I really think that that was just a profound timing for them, where they were able to not only get a big pick, but to turn it into something legitimate. And this is before Roche. Like, Roche has been on the battlefield for quite some time, but they know the Ice Blast, the March, the Firefly can make it very frustrating, and they do not want to take that risk, not just yet anyways.
You can really see the idea for IG, which is Chuan doesn't need damage because the rest of the team can offer it. We've got great high damage output supports, extremely high octane potential, but they've had one fight where it's even close to what they're envisioning with this draft, and a lot of it just comes down to lack of mobility. Like, the only way I realistically see IG fighting that team fight is a really good smoke gank or fighting from the high grounds. Like, those are the two ways I see a fight happening for them, and Light Gaming just aren't giving them openings. When they take fights outside the base, they're normally the ones who get the jump over the past 10 minutes. And Tinker going for this build, it means that 430 won't have the big damage for some time, though he is getting there now. Even with the BKB, still at 17k net worth, and finally Chuan will pick up a Max Commandus. This should allow him to solo kill someone like the Shadow Shaman, the Skywrath Mage.
Oh, look
at
the
wraparound. IG looking for the backstab here. Do they find anyone? Boots of Travel in from the Tinker. He gets caught out though. 430. He was gonna BKB bait it, but he just got incinerated. Can he buy back is the question. No buyback available. They'll jump in with Chuan now, but it doesn't catch the Ember. It's only the Centaur that Chuan's found. Not good enough, I don't think. They need XZ. The Ember still held in position by Lasso. Will end up going down. Is IG really gonna take this fight with no Tinker? That's the question. Meanwhile, June forced to retreat out. The Blink Stop is in on Chuan. He's nearly brought down. He'll end up falling there to the tick over time from the Twin-Headed Dragon. And it looks like IG are just going to throw this one down the toilet. Now June being dope past the tier 4 towers. IG self-destructing in Starladder. What an absolute disaster of a game from them. They might even lose their second lane of racks here. No buyback on anybody. 4 heroes dead for 20 plus seconds. 3 for 30 plus. Blaze, this might just be GG. What in the world is going on with Invictus Gaming?
I don't know, man. I mean, when they were pushing out mid with the smoke, Lai actually used Sleight of Fist, cleaved down the creep wave, Ether shocked it, and it just evaporated. And IG didn't notice that when they were making their smoke movement, so they wrap around, trying to. Well, I think they were looking to maybe gank the Radiant jungle, but as soon as they see what was happening to Ferrari, they had to turn.
If you want to make that play, he has to BKB before he TPs in, not afterwards. Yeah. And or they have to be ready to jump in instantly with Proto, but that didn't happen.
I think they were unaware.
It's one last fight now for 430.
There's no way you go on that otherwise.
Yeah, well, 430 tries to hold this. He'll force them back for a time. XTT driven off. Meanwhile, 430 blinking the other direction. He'll find the Skywrath Mage, and he gets a support kill. But yeah, the whole idea to me is either you have to have Void already ready to jump in. Like, he's got to be sitting here, not over here, or you BKB first. Like, the other ways, it just doesn't work.
Yeah, I think that they weren't 100% sure of the enemy positioning. That's the only explanation I can have for exactly how that transpired, because if they were looking for the fight right there and then they certainly had it, and they didn't respond quickly enough. So the current spheres have mostly been on Centaur, but now we might see a double. No, he gets Ice Path.
Chronosphere onto XZ, held in position. Chuan, not popping his Mask of Magus, but has a lot of armor to chew through. This Ember's gone for quite a few stat items. Will end up dropping, doesn't have a Remnant to jump to. Already popped those before the fight, so now Chuan will find another kill. It's actually 4 dead, counting the one earlier, as the Tinker finishes off the Centaur. IG will look for their Roshan. Hey man, never say never. They do have the Tinker Void. They're only down 8k gold. But it's 2 lanes of Rex.
It's 4 racks. It's so much more than the gold graph right now. It's gonna just weigh on them for the rest of the game, and it almost puts a timer where they only have like 5 to 10 minutes before their economy is just so drained, and they're just gonna be so caught up inside their own base. But the Roche is huge, the team fight's huge, and the fact that Ember died, bought back, and now has died a second time is actually pretty immense. They obviously picked him off in the mid fight, and now getting them this next time around is very favorable for them. The Aegis, I guess, will go to the Chuan, and that will obviously give him that second life, that second opportunity to make those Chronos happen. But we'll see. For right now, just trying to mom it down, and yeah, it is going to fall before Live Gaming have any chance to provide a rebuttal.
If they can come back from this, that would be pretty good for their morale, I gotta say.
Sure.
Not getting a chance to defend their title at ESL, that one obviously hurts. Haven't had too much success with the new roster. They've swapped the roles around now, and it would be a nice boost to their confidence to take this one, but it's, like you said, just not looking good, to put it mildly. As they're hunting for 430 in the trees. But he's not actually there. He was just sitting back on the lane. A little bit farther away from Live Gaming. So Live Gaming will wait for their Ember to respawn, and I imagine it's just one good push, either down mid or bottom lane blaze. And the question is, can IG find a fight outside of the base, or can they in some other way hold the line? That is the million-dollar question right now for them.
The really annoying part is that Ferrari can't really prime the base for us all. Actually, down bottom, he's going to throw some rockets out, but XDD is so close at hand that you always got to be worried for this guy if he's overstepping his bounds. But anyways, there is actually some nice flank movement on Chuan up top, so I guess that's where the action will start.
Blink Hex onto Chuan, now the follow-up with Shackle. The silence for the Skywrath Mage. No chance for him to do anything here. 430 will arrive, and there is an Aegis, so maybe the turn comes. Chuan, well, he'll just kill wards. Hey, Aegis for wards. He gets a little gold, but hardly the trade IG was hoping for. And this is a Void who has no buyback. 200 gold short, so... Well, the gold will help him get there, but you'd rather just have the straight second life from the Aegis, that's for sure.
Yeah. So now it's going to be a lot easier for them to kill off the Faceless Void than it is for IG to kill off XZ. He's got the Lincolns pretty soon, I believe, coming out for him, and of course he does have that Flame Guard to nullify damage from the Ancient Apparition, so he doesn't shatter easy, and he is going to be surprisingly tanky for what we usually decide is a glass cannon hero. And yeah, it's going to be on IG to find that opportunity. But right now, Live Gaming have complete control of the map. They're the ones that can make things happen, and it's really difficult for Ferrari to prepare the base. Like, when the assault is coming, you don't know where it's coming from. As long as they get the creep wave from one of the 3 lanes, they're going to break backdoor protection, and they can start hounding on those last 2 racks.
No, it'll take a great fight here from IG. An absolutely spectacular engagement. And really, it feels like it's not enough just to win the fight. They have to take it outside of their base. If they let wards get dropped on their tower, or sorry, their rack's bottom, or even maybe their tier 4's mid, they're probably losing a tier 4. Potentially the throne is in jeopardy if they start losing heroes as well, and for sure bottom lane just losing that one more melee Rex is pretty much it. IG don't have the counter push to threaten for a base trade. There's no Desolator on this team, no Assault Cars, no mobile building killing potential like a Nature's Prophet, no Wisp Tiny, so they'll have to win this fight, and they'll have to do it without losing structures. And they'll probably have to win 1 or 2 more after that to have a chance of turning this.
That's true. June is actually going to pick up the gem that Super dropped a long time back. They've been keeping him base for almost the entire game, but now they're like, we need to get control of the map. We need to get some vision. And they're going to go. XTD is not the best target.
Oh, it's bait though, Blaze. It's a trap. But does that matter? With the BKB on June, XTD is kept alive for a time. 430 hexed up. He didn't get off his own BKB. Chuan, BKBing as well. Looking to jump in, but it's the absolutely isolated Shadow Shaman who ends up falling first. While Chuan will get thrown up by a Yule Scepter. His BKB worn off, and now he's silenced. He can't retreat out. He's burning in the macro pile. He'll end up falling. Now the turn. Centaur buys back. Ember Spirit will rejoin the fray. The Shaman buys back as well. IG getting overrun, it looks. Well, 430 will stand strong for a time, but his BKB about to wear off. And then they might be able to jump back in on him. No, he gets off the rocket. He gets the kill. Nicely done. Now fighting up against Jakiro. Can he make his way out from this one? He burns. He burns too much. And down he goes. Well, gaming, it cost them a lot, but they kill off the Void. They force out his buyback. They kill off the Tinker as well. They don't have Shaman Ward for this high ground push. And, well, can they actually win the game now, Blaze? That's the question.
So far,
I think so.
Pretty clean.
Creeps pushing in mid. Creeps pushing in top. This might just be too much building damage at this point. There's too much beef in the front lines. Chuan leaping forward. No Chronosphere for 5 seconds. During which time he's delayed. He's hexed up. Then held in position by the Shackles. While Tinker tries to hold the line mid. XTD as well as the Scarlet Mage combining. But the tier 4s are falling. Creeps are beating away on these. They'll lose the Shaman. That was expected. They actually end up dropping the Ember as well for that. And, well, they get a tier 4. Honestly, pretty sloppy from Light Gaming. Like, you'd like to just have wards and push up the high ground that way, but hey, they're getting closer, Blaze. They're getting closer to taking this third lane of Rax, or maybe just the throne straight out.
5400 going to take a lot of damage in his own fountain due to the fact that Ancient Apparition just picked up the Aghanim Scepter. It's hard to say if it'll be enough to bring him down. I don't think it will be, but just keeping him there, keeping him in the base, and giving more time for IGA to try to go for this rebound. They're still in it as long as the racks stand, and yeah, they're trying to hold it for now. But these 2 last fights, both times June has been lassoing the Centaur, this BKB pipe Centaur, who could survive against all odds for the most part.
He's tanky against everything.
He's going to be able to maybe counter-initiate when the lasso hits, and they're afraid of that, obviously. The Blink Stomp can really screw over their attempts to target fire whoever gets lassoed, but even still, there has to be a better target. Ideally, of course, it would be the Ember, but with his Lincolns, you need to force that off.
Well, Invictus Gaming now make a pretty aggressive and bold maneuver into Radiant territory. June hunting right now. Does he have any vision? Hasn't spotted out XZ yet, but he's about to get vision on XTT. They're skirting just on the boundaries of his vision. As he blinks it with the BKB, he lassos Super. He ignores the Ember Spirit as a Lincoln Sphere, knowing he can't do much to finish him up. Had already dropped the 4-step. Now 430 caught out. He does a BKB, but whatever. Right-click does a lot of damage. Chuan running in. He'll get off his ultimate, but he's Yule Sceptered up in the air. The BKB's not enough for him to find this kill. He needs backup to do it. And they get a couple, but 430 now has to run. He'll TP out, doesn't get canceled, he gets Yules! 3-hero Ice Path! 430, if he dies now, has no buyback. He'll be down for the count for nearly 2 minutes. He's almost dead, 20 HP, but they can't do it. The Taker lives through it, and now they go back in. Cheesepug and Luo just in a bit too deep, I think, as Chuan is held off by another Ice Pet. This Jakiro is too tanky. He's winning them the fight. He'll bring down the Ancient Apparition with the support of XZ, getting the last hit of both kills. And at this point, the BKBs are just too low. They're still hunting, though. They're looking for June to the north, and honestly, chasing him is probably not worth it. Well, they'll go for the Bat Rider anyway. He's got buyback. This is simply a stalling maneuver from June, but John, Jesus. This game's so weird. English is now escaping me.
Yeah.
But I like gaming. With wards up on Shaman, this might be it.
Yeah, every moment that IG spend outside their base, there's going to be time that the top and mid pushes in. So they actually lost their tier 4s. They're down to just the naked throne now, and the Rax, the throne, whatever they want to go for, they have a pretty good target on hand. But they did have to buy back on the Ember Spirit, and this is a tiny, tiny window.
No
the
more
double
buybacks.
damage Ember Spirit wants to make something happen now, but if he does go down through some miracle, something with the Chronosphere, then they actually could possibly take this game just based on the fact that the Ember can't jump back into it. But we'll see. Right now, it seems like it's Light Gaming's game to throw hard if they could throw it at all. But for now, they're in such a great position. And if they want to be patient, they'll wait for the buyback, wait for the Aegis on the Ember. If they want to try to press their advantage, now's the time.
Light Gaming positioning towards the mid lane, perhaps, as the creeps march in. Throw now exposed. Do they even just throne it? They've got to know IG are low on buybacks. I don't know if they realize that nobody has them, but they have to know they're low because they've already used so many over the past few minutes. And Live Gaming push in. They'll just show the Jakiro mid lane. He's got Ethereal Blade picked up, and this will make life living hell for Chwad at this point. His BKB now down to just 5 seconds. As they rotate towards the bottom lane, they're just going to smoke, jump in with the wards, and look to press the assault on the southern route. And they'll get the blink in initiation on Luo now. He's held in position by the stomp, and he instantly melts. They'll use a lasso to try and finish him off. Chuan focusing, but a great defensive Ethereal Blade. What a play from XTT. This will waste the lasso. This will waste Chuan's precious BKB seconds as well. At 4:30, his own BKB wearing off very quickly at this stage. But is it enough? Chuan blinks it again. This time, he again finds only one. Just XZ caught up by the Chrono. They'll get the kill, but I just don't know if it's good enough anymore to be getting these one-hero Chronos. Ember dead for 110 seconds, but Chuan may die for this as well. No buyback for a minute, and he'll time walk, and unfortunately, doesn't make it out in the end. He'll be picked off. And they'll look for their third and final 8 of Rax here. No taker for 100. This is it. IG, I'm not sure if they can believe the way this game has gone. Not that they lost, but the way that they're losing. They haven't even called the GG yet, which...
They still got a Rax, man. As long as you got
They got no buybacks, man. It's over. It's GG, and they know it. They've run through the list of possibilities, and they came up empty. This Jakiro, man. This Jakiro did some serious work this game.
Seriously. Though, gotta give props to XCD's last initiation there. Lil was the target they needed to bring down to guarantee that fight. The Chronosphere hitting on one, even if it hit on 2 or 3 targets, if they don't have the Death Ward, they don't have enough damage to follow it up. So, in the end, they get the pick on the Witch Doctor, he couldn't buy back, and I honestly think that was the last thing that was keeping IG in this game, the threat of that multi-hero Death Ward. But in the end, they lose it out. They just don't get enough off the map early, and when it came down to it, Live Gaming were really great about pressing their advantage, pushing in while they had the best opportunity to do so, and finding those pickoffs left, right, and center. Of course, the power of the Jakiro is well seen, in this case in the off lane, but contributing once his team goes for the 3-man push, and they really socked it to IG here. They got to be really crippled in their morale right now.
Hindsight is 20/20, but I really have to question the Faceless Void item build. To me, you need to get more damage early on. The lack of stacking for the Bat Rider. The Tinker BKB, like you pointed out, yeah, it does help you to deal with the Yule Scepter initiation, but there's no Bat Rider on the enemy team. There's no Storm Spirit. It's not that easy for them to find you, and they needed more damage. Like, by the time they got it from Witch Doctor and Ancient Apparition, there was too many ways to cancel those ultimates and too much farm on these heroes to get burst down. But more than anything, IG just had some really poorly executed fights. This was completely uncharacteristic, yet Live Gaming played well. They had a solid draft, they pressured IG, they took advantage of the mistakes, and they take the win here, guys. With that being said, that wraps up our first of 4 Starladder China games on the day. The next one's going to be probably the marquee match of the day. LGD Gaming facing up against Vici Gaming. For those who didn't hear already, Vici Gaming are going to ESL. They're going to New York, so they're the big name right now in China. But we'll see if LGD can take them down a peg or two. I'm LD. I was joined here for the first game by Blaze. And with that being said, guys, you're watching Beyond the Summit's coverage of Starladder China Season 10. We'll be back after a brief commercial break. Stay tuned.